Welcome, welcome. Looking for your dose of insights and opportunities to really shift things around. This channel is for those that are looking to make a difference in their life and they're just tired of not getting where they want to be. So, a little different. This is not a motivation video. It's not a motivation channel. It's an insight-driven channel that gives different perspectives that can free you up from feeling painted into a corner, no option, or just tired of repeating the past. This is the Maturity Project. I am your host, Chad Everett Broshears. Welcome. Now, today's Labor Day. It's an interesting day because it's a day in recognition for the labor it took to build our country. I think it's so easy when you get to a point of just having things good, like being challenged, giving, a position to suffer, to take on, great effort to change your life. We've been, as they say, and I believe it was, who said it? Newton? We stand on the shoulders of giants. What does it take to be a giant in your own life? You know them. You know giants. They just said, you know what? This life is my life, and I'm going to make it my life. I'm going to do what I want with it, and I'll create what I want to experience with it. Before Tony Robbins made it big, he was incredibly impoverished. He was challenged by a lot, and he was just given a critical moment. He decided a critical moment for himself that even though he had, I believe the story was that he had less than $10 in his pocket, and that was all he had. And he made up his mind. He was going to change his life, and he was going to change other people's lives in the process as well. I admire him. He's got however true the story is, why hit it with skepticism if it's capable of making so much change in your life? Don't treat it with the potential that it's not true. Make your life your own true story. Here I am, mid-40s, and I've been haunted by this project, this thing. The Maturity Project has not always been called that, but I've been haunted by it my entire life. I have a different way of viewing things. And for the longest time, I thought everyone thought like I did. It's not true. But it left me puzzled. It left me challenged because I constantly looked at things and go, I don't understand why you don't see this, or the answer is so clearly in front of you. I've gone through my own, the biasness of being in the moment, and the fish in water. The lack of recognition that I'm in water because it's what I was used to. I've been through that too, but it's just the mechanics of thinking and the way that I perceive things is just different. And it took a while before I realized that. I was constantly having people tell me I think in a unique way, but I kept thinking, I just think a lot more than other people, but I don't think differently. No, it's not that, I'm the only person on the planet that thinks the way that I think. It's pretty interesting. I came across one particular gentleman. His name is Patrick Bet-David. He's an incredibly interesting and fascinating human being. And I followed his work for a while. I didn't realize, because as he's evolved, he's also shared himself in a way that you really get the authentic person through his process of being the professional that draws people in, his clients and that kind of thing, but the authentic person showing up. And it fascinates me that he's probably the closest in thinking patterns to myself. And I've met a lot of incredibly intelligent people, and I'm not putting myself in the intelligent category. I actually assign myself more to the curiosity category, which is also part of intelligence, but I would recognize that being more of a strength for me than intelligence. I just think differently. So the pursuit of greatness for me is the realization that for me to really and truly experience that greatness that I feel that it's kind of been, adorned on me or aligned with me, or given to me, a gift or whatever, however you want to perceive it, is my purpose here is to help other people get the insights necessary to develop themselves into the person that they are best suited to be. The person, if it works for you to say the person they're meant to be. So it's the helping people find their heaven on earth, right? Because it's up to us. It's our decisions that give us our heaven or hell. We get the real experience of it. Fastest access to hell is the lie. And I don't suggest that at all, because a lie is it's a continuous debt that you owe whoever received it, and your debt is in the labor of maintaining it so that you're not found out. And then there's the habits that are associated with it. There's so many things that just create chaos that a lie is, and that is birthed from a lie. So don't lie. But if you want heaven, it's not the constant nothing but happiness and joy, but you have a greater sense of happiness and joy over the other elements of life, because you conditioned it into yourself. You're not biasly nullified because you're attached to a particular viewpoint, as much as you've just done so much work that the things that would bother other people don't bother you, because you've developed yourself in such a way that you're capable of dealing with it with less stress, less of the negative impact that people that are ill-prepared experience. So the more that we put that work into ourselves, the more of a heaven we realize. And the more of something that we hold valuable enough that we're willing to live our life into. And that gives you the alignment of purpose. And life is going to happen. And the value of contrast is its own gift. When you're in your heaven, you're still going to lose people. When you're in your heaven, you're still going to have hardship. But again, it's just you have this incredible ability to manage things differently than if you were somewhere in purgatory, if you will, the place between, or in hell. It's a beautiful thing, because this does go back to creating the great nation of the United States. Our ancestors, and all of them, no matter what role they played, worked so incredibly hard to create this world, to create this reality, because the United States has influenced the world at such a significant degree. But what we've done is we've let our good times, enable us to the point that we have created our own disabilities through lacking development in our maturity. And the less mature you are, the more of an authority you need to guide you in your life. The more you need other people to do things for you. A mark of a mature person is someone that's capable of doing whatever that thing is that needs to be done. Especially in such a way that they're proficient and or capable of developing faster, because they're more mature. They also don't typically hold on to the negatives for too long, but they use that as a guiding direction on how to develop something specific. So there's a solution associated with the experience of negative versus a complaint associated with the experience of negative. Create your heaven. We've done it. The United States created its heaven. The thing is that we became lazy in the vigilance of continuing to hold it. We allowed other people to teach our children. We've allowed other people to develop our nation based off of the benefits of having it good. But something else that came to mind too is I'm sitting, as I'm going through things and learning, dealing with the reality of my morning, and then where we're at with, the holiday, and just the growth of all of it, right? The Maturity Project works on all scales, from the micro to the macro. It's not something that has a lot of a particular bias for anything in particular. It really doesn't have that. It doesn't have a political agenda. It doesn't have anything other than just development at its core. That's all it is. So you can be anything, and the Maturity Project benefit you. You can be an individual, or you can be a group of people. You can be, a town, a city, a state, a country, a continent. It can be any of those things, because like creating a great nation like the United States, and in its recognition of Labor Day, that's a holiday that we have established that is in recognition of all of our hard work. It is a recognition that all of us matter, not just the companies that manage the individuals that produce such products and services that we have available to us, and the ones that also came to us that made us such a great country. So it's on all levels, but you can't just give the Maturity Project to the macro without developing the micro, because that's the disconnect. You have the right to all development. You don't have to just sit there and be developed by the needs of a company. By the way, the development of the needs of a company is also found in the idea of what the statement, and this is not the purpose or where it came from. This is just a way of looking at how companies work. If you were to hear a jack of all trades is a master of none, it aligns with the idea of negative of being a jack of all trades. It actually, the deeper you think about it, the more it puts a pejorative on adaptability, about it being highly adaptive. The more adaptive you are, the more likely you are to survive different situations, both in your ego, your psychological position, your emotions, and your physical body all have, a higher potential of survival regardless of the situation when you're more adaptable, because you can see things differently. You become the MacGyver, if you will. If you're not familiar with that, MacGyver was a TV show. They tried remaking it. It didn't do as well, but it's a TV show in the 80s and 90s about a guy that he's such a genius. It didn't matter what situation he was in. He took some of the most ridiculous things and created a way out of the situation, like a paperclip, piece of chewing gum, and an envelope, and all of a sudden he put together a plane or something ridiculous, right? That's not actually there. It's just we made fun of the show because of how ridiculous some of the scenarios and the solutions were. But the point of it is he was so incredibly adaptive. His mind was constantly looking for solutions when a challenge was present, especially one that had, the potential of affecting him, on a mortal level, because it was, obviously it's TV, right? But if you're told a jack of all trades is a master of none, it makes you kind of want to get away from that. It makes you more interested in becoming a specialist. Well, companies want you to specialize in the position that you specifically have that helps them and their organization be more effective and more successful. It's not a negative. You will have to do that in your company to be good at and to get promoted or make more money or whatever it is to increase your living, your income, and potentially change your life. But you're going to also have the option to be able to develop yourself in a very dynamic way. Develop yourself where your needs show up. The squeaky wheel gets the grease, right? Well, your squeaky wheels, you're just so used to it, you're not familiar with what the problem is anymore, because you become used to it like a white noise. It's just this thing, it's like a white noise stress. It's just a staticky stress that you've gotten used to it. You're like, I didn't realize I was stressing over that, because you're so familiar with it. A lot of that stuff is your subconscious mind going, I'm not okay with this. That's what the ego is. It's a subconscious mind saying, it's like, you can look at your ego as being your best friend. It's not always going to, like, your best friend's going to defend you. And if it's just tired of people treating you a certain way, it's going to get more aggressive. It's going to get less attractive, but more effective by pushing people off. But also its job is to continuously convince you of taking care of yourself, but it's not mature at the level of your conscious mind and understanding how people prefer to treat each other, how society holds itself together with this comforting effect of what a hierarchy really requires, and group of communal creatures require. It doesn't have the tactfulness of all of that, because it is the subconscious mind's relief valve, if you will. So it's there. Don't chastise it. Learn from it. Pursue what it's telling you, but pursue it in a way of looking for the solution, not fortifying the complaint. Because the ego takes on the complaint, not the solution. The solution, when the ego has it and the complaint is lodged in your mind from your ego's need to protect you, then it comes up with a solution of yelling at somebody or being aggressive or something that seems to be outside of your character. It's only a defense mechanism. Needing more, all of those things, the things that people are like, oh, that's so narcissistic. What's the root cause of it first? If you want a solution, look for the cause. Don't blame the alarm for what it has told you. Wake up in the morning pissed off at your alarm when all it's doing is its function, which is wake you up. So if you have that same, you can be mad at your alarm, but you should look at your own habits, because your alarm has no attitude. It has nothing other than doing what you told it to do, which is wake you up at a particular time. But if you find yourself upset at your alarm, there's something to look at there. You're not taking care of yourself well enough. You're not recovered well enough. And you're in a bad mood because your body has just been interrupted in its repair sequence. And it needs it. The same as if somebody were to come and take some delicious food away from you when you're starving. It's going to put you in a bad mood. It's something that you need, and somebody's taking it from you. Oh, same thing. So to discover your greatness, listen to these things. I'm not saying let it take you and you just start becoming, this chaos on wheels, as much as analyze it and say, what's this coming from? How do I work with this? I do this all the time, by the way. Some things are a little harder to gain ground on, or to at least hold my foundation on, but that's not necessarily, it's not a negative. It tells me where I have higher degrees of sensitivity or and more of a challenged foundation. Constant work, right? Constantly working on myself. I want to create a solution. And when I catch myself contributing to a complaint, I can already tell you, like my thing that I say to myself is humanity is on this side, and I stand for humanity. So my job is to overcome that challenge and not be gripped by it for too long. But I will tell you this, there are exercises that I do where I allow it to take me. I allow it to grip me. I allow it to dictate my behavior, because I know that on the other side of that, I get to be the witness of it, because I can observe my own actions, behaviors, and I know my intimate inner thinking about it, and I get more work that I can put myself through. It's constant self-evaluation and growth. And then where I find that I don't have viable solutions, I read, I learn. I'm constantly learning. I love doing it. It's a wonderful pastime of mine. Instead of being caught up with entertainment, where most people have, just something to escape their life, so they use entertainment to escape their life. And I get it. Hey, if you don't have a solution, look for escapism, right? But I find learning to be entertaining to me. It's shifted. It used to be, oh God, I don't want to do that, because the way I was educated through school and that kind of thing. And I'm not downing necessarily the school system either. I came out of it, and I have the perspectives that I have on life. So I'll call that a win. It's just that not as many people came out with that depth of insight as I have. But there's also the genetic alignment, early authorities, that kind of thing. Having a father that still to this day is the smartest man that I've ever known. He's just had the unrefined intelligence. Though he definitely had refinement in his intelligence too, don't get me wrong, but he could have been developed so much greater. But I think also part of the reason why he was so incredibly intelligent is that he wasn't. Now, he went to the Navy, he retired from that, he got certifications, he's got all kinds of stuff. He was a very intelligent and accomplished man. It's just he had his the faults. By the way, my father passed away on the 4th of September of 2006. So it was Labor Day. That day means something to me. But it's a totem in my life. It's a totem to the totem pole of my life. And that is that, he did not unlock his greatest potential because he was an alcoholic Uh, he loved women and he couldn't be honest about it. He had his shortcomings because he had these vices that were developed out of not being able to tell the truth about his life. And then he had to protect and hide that part of him. And then, that's the things that were held against him by my family. And everybody holds their own position on my father, but for my youngest brother and my mother, they both still to this day will reincarnate him to be a bad person, and to be this horrible guy, almost as this malicious title, almost, or like a malicious character attribute to him, which he was not malicious at all. But he lied to protect himself. So he is a totem of that for me, and that is, you have to be courageous enough to tell the truth. You have to be, honest and hold integrity, because your word is your integrity. And what people know about you truly is more your word, because your word is aligned with your actions when you have integrity. And you want both, versus just your actions. And then people say, well, he said this, but he did that. Even if what you did was great, being too humble takes away, and it actually affects your integrity. But being humble itself, not too humble, but just being humble enough to say, hey, other people have done this as well, or why I did it wasn't for self-gratification, or that I was, I got something out of it, but I also did it for a lot of other people, or other people helped support the process, whatever. All of those things are great. Nothing's wrong with, giving credit away. But being too humble is where you can sit and be like, hey, I won't take credit for it no matter what. Well, what if that conversation is accessing something for the person giving the credit? They also have something in their life that, if you had actually taken credit enough to be recognized for your efforts in the process of accomplishing that thing, that they could also share what their challenges are, and you may have access. Actually, I would say you do have access to changing their life as well. So if you're too humble, you don't share that with other people. They don't know that you can help them. And you may not even reach out to help them. If they don't tell you, you won't even know to look. It feels really good to help somebody. Actually, highly successful people, one of the fastest ways I've ever seen them light up, other than their own, like accomplishing something new or, something greater than they've done before, is when somebody asks them with absolute sincerity how to become successful. Every time I've witnessed somebody who's truly successful, and when that question is proposed, or that insight is requested, I see them light up. Because a good mentor is excited by a good student or a good mentee. So be open to it. I would like to say, hey, I'm just some guy talking on the internet, but I'm not. I'm Chad Everett Brochures. I have purpose in this life, and I have something to do. And for me, I want you to see the same thing. I want you to find your purpose. I want you to find the thing that creates the greatest fulfillment in your life. You don't need to change the world for the greatest fulfillment in your life. But develop yourself in all 8 areas of maturity. You'll find much greater satisfaction and fulfillment in life, because it's beautiful. We only have as much time as we have. Get what you can out of life while you can, but don't take it from others in some sort of selfish, greedy way. Develop it, create it. You can use the systems other people have made and just master them. The same as the work conversation that I gave earlier. They want you to be the best that you can so that the company grows as best that it can, because a company grows by its people. By its customers, by its employees. That's how they grow, by the agreements that they make, what they are. So if you really want an amazing company, become an amazing person, because you mold your company by you, the person. If you don't like something other people are doing, and you don't have a whole lot of say so, learn what they've done. Try to find out the motives, what is it that motivated them to be that way. You almost certainly have no idea. Why is somebody greedy? Well, if you don't understand what happened to them in their life and where they found that money was the solution, you won't really understand the motive to why they're being greedy. If they've starved to the point that, and everybody else just didn't seem to care about them, they made up their mind that other people don't matter anyway because they're not going to help take care of them, or the other people can go through their own suffering. I'm never going to go back there again. That's their lesson, not mine. There's a lot of ways to look at it that makes people greedy. And then there's obviously always going to be the genetic anomalies that happen to be like, the psychopaths, sociopaths, and then, people that are, genetically more narcissistic than others. It's always there, but that's a very small population value. It's a very small percentage. The majority of people are through life's experiences, through the nurturing of life. It's not from a genetic value as much. So, but there's still all types of different variations through genetics that cause people to be different, which is not a bad thing. I don't want conformity. The only conformity I want is towards the laws that we have that actually dictate us to actually behave in such a way that we can coexist and cause the least amount of harm to each other. That's the only conformity that I'm interested in, is the conformity of people supporting each other through their differences. And I know this may sound a lot like, some political left stuff, but that's not it at all. I'm free of that nonsense. I have my positions and my worldviews in politics, but I'll tell you that it's develop yourself. Work through the challenges that you have. Every challenge you have is a gift for the opportunity for a different future. If you look at it that way, it's you make the decision. You can continue to think the way you've always thought, and you continue to get what you've always got. That's the simple version of it. Nothing changes if nothing changes. Every opportunity for change is in front of you right now. Every one of them. Why did I pursue my own company after fixing gyms for other companies for so long? I was not just a great director of personal training. I wanted to understand and grow in the way the world and the businesses work. And I continued to see the expensive lessons, the mistakes that were made by the people that were in charge, and I let them make their mistakes. I voiced it, and I was challenged and stressed over it, and I decided that I was going to learn from them, let them make the mistakes they want to make, because it wasn't making a difference by my suggestions anyway, no matter how I changed the conversation, or how I attempted to have that conversation. And I decided to just learn from them. Teach me. Show me the truth of that mistake. Teach me what I need to learn here. Take me to a different place by giving me the lessons that will belong to me. They belong to me. So that's the beautiful thing about learning, is that it creates a lesson that you own. The lessons that you're given, you own that knowledge for the rest of your life. So whenever something comes up and people are like, oh my God, this is horrible, and they buy into the complaint, I'm like, stop stealing your greatness, man. Don't steal your greatness because you give into the complaint. Because a complaint sucks the energy out of your opportunity. Don't do that to yourself. Now, if you need to sit in the crock pot or the pressure cooker longer because you just don't want to take the lesson, by all means. But the majority of people, if they know that there's another opportunity, a different way of actually taking on a challenge that is more successful than the one they have, and they've been building the resources necessary to be able to pivot into that, they typically don't go the lesson that is less, or the direction that is less successful. They take another path. They take the one that, hey, I don't know if this one's going to work or not, but the other one definitely does not work very well. I'm going to try this one. Then they go down that route of trying it. And it's fucking great. Excuse the language on that, but practice. Try things out. It's okay to fail. Just learn from it. Don't give in to the complaint, because the complaint steals your greatness. It deflates you. It sucks the energy out of your opportunity. And it also teaches people that, hey, you'd rather complain than come up with a solution. Yeah. So anyway, that's it for today. Get to your greatness. The world needs it. It doesn't matter if it's another brand of clothing that goes into the gym industry or whatever. It contributes to the greater side of humanity. The more you develop yourself in 8 areas of life and the 8 areas of maturity, the more you will find that you're more fulfilled in life. And you'll also realize that if you're right now you're obsessed with money and you think that the only thing, you know, you need to make hundreds of millions of dollars or $1 billion or whatever, you won't end up with $1 billion and realize that you hate your life and that you've made horrible choices in order to get there. You've hurt people on the way there. Money doesn't always fix the pain that you caused, especially when the pain is something you've done to yourself. It just can make you miserable. Yeah, you pay your bills, you can go all over the country, you can go all over the world, travel as much as you want, maybe. Or you could be in jail, you know, or whatever other variation. Or you can find that you broke your body in the process and you can't move, or you're moving with pain. You know, money doesn't replace pain, especially the physical or emotional. You know, you could kill a relationship. So, just, this is our life, man. This is the opportunity you have. I'd say just let's do something great with it. Discover your greatness. Subscribe to the channel. Comment in the comment section. Let's grow together. You know, let's get up to something. Share this video with the people in your life that you want to make a difference with. Somebody you want to actually have a very meaningful conversation. Shake it up a little bit. Make something different out of it. Share this video with that person. Watch it with them. You know, talk about it. Create dialogue around these things. You know, let's create something together. You know, subscribe to the channel. Put a comment in the comment section. Let me know what your thoughts are. You know, tell me what you're going through, what you're getting to experience out of all of this. You know, how is life changing, or what do you want to do to make life change? Let's create something great, man. Comment in the comment section what you're up to. Say hi. You know, get us to know, like, get us to that place where we know you're involved. Okay. All right. Well, with that, this is the Maturity Project. I'm your host, Chad Everett Brochures. Just keep in mind, the path to hell is paved with good intentions. You know, lots of really good hearts have created some really, really bad things because they just weren't balanced out in their maturity. And some of those horrible things were coming from blind spots. I didn't see it coming because they didn't develop themselves all the way around. So, let's do it together. All right? Until next time, let's get up to some stuff. See ya.